In the previous movie tutorial, we got a good understanding of the VST channel mixer and all the various components and areas to work with. As you've also probably noticed, Nuendo offers various types of channels to work with, making the mixer one of the most flexible mixers available in any DAW application. In this movie tutorial, we are going to take a closer look at the individual channel types and their similarities and differences. Each mixer channel in Nuendo has a similar layout and feel. However, each channel has its own color strip to help you quickly distinguish them from one another. Otherwise, they essentially look and act the same. We'll start with the audio channel first. The audio channel is the most commonly used channel type. It handles the audio tracks that you record or load into your project. Audio channels are also used to record external audio signals by using the input routing option. All the basic functions are here to provide you with the mixing tools you need. Mutes, solos, read-write automation, the channel edit button, insert, EQ, and send bypass buttons, monitor, and record enable. Audio channels can be routed to either a group or directly out to the main output bus. You can also send audio channels to an effects send for processing. The group channels are used for grouping audio channels, effects channels, or instrument channels into one single channel. This is commonly used when you need to process multiple channels through the same insert effects, like a compressor or a limiter, or if you simply need to control volume and pan automation of all the tracks with one single channel. It's also much easier to automate this single channel rather than creating and editing automation for each channel individually. Group channels can also be routed directly to the main mixer output bus. However, they can be sent to an effects send for further effects processing if needed. You also notice there is no available input option for the group channels, since the routing is handled by assigning the group channel as the output destination for the channels you want to group. The effects channels are essentially the equivalent of an aux return on a real mixing console. However, they are used in a slightly different manner. Since it is a separate channel, you have far more control over the effects that come back into the mix versus a normal aux send routing scheme you find on common mixers. Using an effects channel is the same as returning your effects into a mixer channel on a console, instead of returning them into the dedicated aux return inputs. What's even more important about the effects channel is that you can have up to 8 effects in this one send channel. And the number of effects channels you can have in the mixer is unlimited. So imagine having a real mixing console that essentially has unlimited effects sends and return buses. Immensely powerful. Routing is the same way as groups. You can only send effects channels directly to the main output bus. However, getting audio into them is slightly different. Effects channels are handled from the send slots found in audio, instrument, and group channels. We'll actually cover inserts and sends in more detail in the Inserts and Sends movie tutorial. Moving on, we have the VST instrument channel. These channels are automatically created whenever you instantiate a VST instrument from the VST instrument rack. They essentially work just like audio channels. However, they are directly linked to the outputs of a specific virtual instrument plugin. Because of this, there is no need for an input route. However, routing to sends, groups, and output buses is exactly the same as the rest. One unique feature of the instrument channels is the editor button. This allows you to quickly call up the graphic editor for the instrument plugin. Very handy when you need to make a quick tweak to a sound while you're in the middle of a mix. The last of our audio-based channel types is the rewire channel. This essentially works the same as the instrument channel, but it is directly tied to a corresponding rewire audio stream. Rewire audio streams can come from any application that supports rewire streaming. Propellerhead's Reason and Ableton Live are two of the most popular applications that currently support rewire. If you have a rewire-compatible application installed, then Nuendo will automatically recognize this and provide you a configuration menu option within the Devices menu. Here you will see the applications listed. If you choose this application, then a rewire configuration window will appear, allowing you to enable or disable any number of channels you want to use for audio streaming from those applications into the Nuendo VST channel mixer. Two other channel types that are very important are the input and output channels. These channels are created based on how you have the inputs and outputs of your audio interface configured within the VST Connections page. Input channels are always found on the far left, and output channels are always found on the far right. Since these channels represent actual discrete physical inputs and outputs, there are no routing options available for them. These channels represent the available inputs and outputs you have for routing your other channel types too. Naming these channel types will also update the drop-down lists for all the inputs and outputs of all channel types. An important aspect of the input channels is that you have the ability to directly apply insert effects to a live incoming signal. So far, all the channel types are created for handling audio signal. However, our last channel type is dedicated specifically to handling MIDI. The MIDI channel essentially looks and works similar to an audio channel, but it is used to manage and mix any MIDI devices you are using. Whether it's a hardware synth or virtual synth plugin, the MIDI channel will control whatever is assigned to the MIDI output port. The VU meter is used to show when data is going in and out of the MIDI channel. The unique feature about the MIDI channel is that you even have the ability to insert MIDI insert effect plugins. These are very powerful real-time processing effects that can be used to process either incoming MIDI data that you are playing in real time or existing MIDI sequencer data that is already recorded. This is probably one of the coolest new features you'll find in E02, and it's something we'll cover in more detail in the MIDI effects plugin movie tutorial. Now, let's take a moment to demonstrate how to use some of these channel types within a typical project. Here I have a song already loaded. I've got a great drum track going on here along with a real nice thumping bass line. I want to experiment with compressing the bass line along with the drum patter in order to give it more of a pumping and breathing feeling. This can help give it a more dynamic feeling and ultimately make the listener simply want to get down and groove. Since compressors are usually used as an insert effect, and we necessarily don't want a mix between a wet and dry signal, we'll want to use a group channel for this purpose. So first, we'll create a group channel. Once I have the group channel created, I'll call up one of my favorite compressors, the UAD1176LN. We'll insert this on the first insert on the group channel. To make things easier for the next step, we'll also name this group channel Drum Group. Now, we'll call up the input-output view for the mixer, and if we go to the output routing of the bass track, we see the drum group channel was created. So we'll choose that as the destination and do the same for the drum beat audio channel as well. Now if I hit play, both the bass line and the drum beat will come through the group channel, go to the compressor, and then out to our main output bus. I'll go ahead and hit play and make my compressor adjustments. There. I think that's definitely thumping now. To hear the difference, I'll simply bypass the compressor for a moment. You can clearly hear what a difference this has made in the overall dynamic feeling of the beat. As you can see, not only is the VST mixer very powerful, it offers you a wide selection of channel types to work with for almost every possible mixing situation you'll come across. With very easy-to-see graphics and a well-thought-out layout, you'll find the mixer one of the most pleasing areas to work in within Nuendo.